not, huh? Yes, we are.
Feeling. Spiritus Sancti.
This had nitrous oxide and testosterone pumping through every shot they took in this movie. It's how you have to make those movies. You can't go girly mode and be like, oh, you know, wouldn't it be amazing if they did this? Get off the set, you prancing Britter. Get off the set. No, we need testosterone. We need manly men doing manly things, cutting people in half and screaming, "This is Sparta."
You heard the hashtag prancing fritter. So
Chuck Norris, Karate Commandos.
Break it up, crack it down, fight forces of evil wherever they're found.
Figures sold separately.
Location Tibet. Assignment recover stolen microchip. Protecting it was Super Ninja. Hi-ya! First, Chemo stood up to him. Hi-ya! And was downed. Then Reed Smith flew in. Hi-ya! And was grounded. But now it's his karate against mine. Hi-ya!
Chuck Norris, Karate Commandos. Chuck Norris, Super Ninja, Reed Smith, Chemo, and other figures sold separately.
how's that old school, Loki?
Only thing it's missing is Chuck Norris's Nordic track. SQUEEKA in Battle Gear.
It's Assassin's Creed.
Adveniat regnum tuum fiat voluntas tua sicut in cielo et in terra.
I have worn Battle Gear before, just FYI.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Pops?
I don't know. I think I'm all right. It's a little choppy, but I'm still here. I'm still having issues. I don't know. I came to learn, though, because Loki and I were trying to record a Friday podcast this week, and I guess it was the same day that Twitter was under attack. So I've got a feeling that Starlink and many of Elon's other products are also under attack. So my Starlink account has been on and off. The signals will just keep shutting itself off. It's not like the bars are going lower. It was after a rainstorm, so I didn't really raise any red flags, but it has persisted a couple times since then. So, it's what it is. We're going to keep rolling. We're going to keep talking hard. Hope everybody out there's having a good week. Things are going well for you. Happy early St. Patty's Day, if you will. And Boondock Saints will be a fun one to talk about with everyone out there. So with me, though, this wonderful panel. It's great folks. IRONCASTER, the lovely Locks are here, my friend. How are you? What's going on?
Oh, we're doing more than fantastic, my friend. No, I'm doing pretty good. It's finally warmed up. I'm kind of feeling the urge to kind of get the windows open. I was gonna go bust out the peak coat and go all authentic for this one, but it's like actually way too hot for that. So this is the best that you get. You get the denim jacket.
That is awesome. That is awesome. The mouse is in the house. She is here, gracing us with her lovely presence. We love you so much for being here, SQUEEKA. How are things for you? What's going on?
Thanks for having me. It's a Tuesday. I'm glad to be here with you guys, hanging out. This is the best part of my week, by far.
Aww.
And I like this movie. I love this movie. It's every time I see it, I don't know. There's moments I chuckle. It's crazy. I know there's some people that are like, it's horrible. It's a bad movie, but I don't know. It makes me laugh. There's just moments from like, and there's one of my favorite parts that I miss about life in general is where you get to slam the phone down on people. I miss that about life. I think you just get to hang up with vengeance.
Yeah, this this movie triggers a lot of folks, and I was happy to watch it. And every time I see some of those triggering moments, if you will, it makes me laugh. I actually just laugh. Like William Dafoe is dropping homophobic slurs, and they're just being vigilantes and all this unmitigated crazy violence and taking violence in your own hands and just everything that would just bother people. I'm like, yeah, that's another reason to watch this movie. Absolutely. So. Loki, my brother, this is a fun one. It's got to be a good one for you, man. Let's talk about this one. How are you doing?
Well, Pops, I might just want a bagel with my coffee. Onion bagel,
Onion
sour
bagel.
cream.
Anybody else want coffee?
Anybody else want coffee? That's some of the best parts of the movie. You can't have this movie without the great William Dafoe. You take William Dafoe out of this movie, and this is not the same movie. So I'm ready. Let's go. I love this movie.
But Loki, what if it's just one guy with 6 guns?
What if it's one guy? As long as by the end of the show we can answer what happened to my cat.
Coffee,
that's all that matters.
Cream, sweet and low.
Old Gamers here, man. It's great to see you, brother. Hope you're being safe out there. Things are going well for you. Love you, man. Thanks for everything. SQUEEKA, of course, is here. She's Grace in chat as well, so it's always great. And the great Cannoli Sasquatch in the house. Look at that. 10 months. It says 10 months. Keep up the great work, Pops. Thank you so much, Cannoli. Thank you so much for that. Let's see here. And they're reviewing over on the MMM. They're doing this movie on there. So, yeah, this is a St. Patrick's Day fun one for sure for a lot of folks. Indeed. So, yeah, let's get to it. It's a fun movie. It's one that I came to significantly later in life. I didn't... Yeah, and IRONCASTER, if you want to share something, I will go ahead and start pulling that screen together so we can do that. When you have something shared, I will click it on over. I had a coworker. This was like, quote, her favorite movie of all time. My gosh, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I hadn't seen it. So I was glad to get to it a little later in life. Didn't see it when it came out, but it's kind of been a fun one ever since. So yeah, good stuff. So anybody have a first time you saw this? Is it sort of like a recent thing, or is it? What are your thoughts on that, guys?
This was one I had not gotten to see until probably the mid 2000s. I want to say maybe 2005 or so was about the time I first saw this movie. I was staying out at a friend's house for the night, and we were just kind of talking about movies, and it was like, you haven't seen this movie? It was, at the time, it was still this movie we kind of talk about as like this kind of indie underground little film that people would just kind of talk about, and it was that word of mouth that was the thing that got this movie to, just really thrive. It was one that I absolutely adored after I saw it.
Pretty much same on my end. I got word from a friend that it was really good and I should go see it. I went and saw it. I laughed my ass off.
Yeah. This was one that had just been abandoned by the studio, basically, right? The studio just dumped it and was like, well, we're not doing this. And it was like, what is going on? So it is kind of frustrating to hear that was like the backstory, but that's kind of what happened. So yeah, I'll have to figure out how to crop that a little differently, IRONCASTER, get us a different picture.
Do you want me to blow this up a bit more?
I don't know. We'll see. We just going to click back to it.
The first movie I saw Dafoe in.
Let's see.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I just remember, and it's. I'll be honest. Every movie after that's been a letdown. This is like my favorite Dafoe movie. I mean, he's great. He's a good actor. I just am like, oh, it's not Boondock Saints material. Okay, well, it's all right. I can't remember if I saw this with friends first or if we saw it in a theater first. I feel like there was a big hullabaloo when it came out too, because there was like a shooting or something that happened at the same time. And so I don't remember if there was like limited screenings or...
Well, it was only really in theaters for like a week.
Yeah,
and
I
the
feel like it was
studio
really
just
short.
yeah, the studio bailed on it. So if you guys didn't know how that worked, it was some sort of crazy situation with the director, and he just got everybody upset, and what a mess it turned into being. And yeah, kind of a weird scenario, and it's part of, I guess, a documentary as well, right? They talk about that a little bit. There's like a documentary done on this filmmaker, Duffy, who is, made his money and made everybody mad, and probably got addicted to drugs and problems and such. I haven't watched the documentary. It's over on Tubi. Ironcaster, you'd be proud to know. It's called Overnight, and yeah, Troy Duffy. I guess it started before the movie was even made. He was casting, and I guess got into a drunkard fight debate, if you will, with Ewan McGregor trying to cast him in the movie over the death penalty, and that created a big mess. And then yeah, just one thing after another for this film. So definitely fits into that cult film category for sure. I don't know. I don't remember being in theaters, really, to be honest. It was, like I said, I don't remember this much. It just didn't hit for me. I came to it late. So
I saw it in theaters. I saw the second one in theaters too, which I never ever imagined they'd ever be able to pull off. But like I said, that was all word of mouth, like Ironcaster was saying. It was just, I had heard from a friend, you need to go see this movie. And I don't remember anything else playing that I hadn't seen at the time. So I was like, screw it. I got a couple hours and I'll go and see it. And I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I feel like it was the same for me. Like one of the guys that I worked with at IBM at the time was like, "Oh my god, this movie, guys, y'all gotta go! Oh my god, this movie!" And like I said, I can't remember if we went and saw it in theaters or if we saw it a little bit later. But I'm almost certain we went and saw it in theaters because I feel like we even had to go a little further out of town. Like there was only a few it was showing in, and we may have just been late to the party. Like it was starting to pull out.
okay.
I mean, it's ultimately one of these movies that comes along about once a generation or so that just takes all the oxygen out of the room. That maybe doesn't get the widespread distribution, but everyone has to see it. Everyone talks about it. It's these movies that ultimately kind of warp stuff around them. I mean, it's movies like this, and more recently, of course, we had The Joker, and I think before this we had Death Wish. Were these movies that were all in this same kind of vein of that kind of film that everyone has to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think part of that is because of what Pop said. Like, there's so many triggering points about it. And you're like, oh my God, did that really happen? Oh my God, that's it. Like, there's so many just little bits and pieces that you're like, I can't believe they put that in a film.
Yeah, I think he's just a novice filmmaker. He wrote this while he was working at a bar and got it made. And just, I don't think he had some of the skill set to carry on and become a widespread filmmaker for a lot of other stuff. He was, like Loki said, able to pull off a sequel, and they're able to continue to move forward a little bit. But yeah, it's a unique film. Definitely feels with its ups and downs. We'll get to that. And yeah, we'll highlight what Beard said here. First off, hey to Beard. Hey, great to see you, member. And so the movie has its problems, but it's fun. And that is probably the best way to explain it. Like, it feels like a low to, at the time was a kind of a mid-budget, but now it's extremely low budget film by today's standards. Indie type film. So with very inexperienced people making it, so therefore it ends up with a lot of problems. But Miramax put some effort behind to get this cast in there. So Zax is also here. Great to see him. Hopefully he's doing well. Great to see him, man. And check out his weekly shows are just amazing. Gosh, Lee. And Beard's also saying that one of the cult classics that lives only through DVDs. So yeah, it completely died. And actually, I want to get you guys' thoughts on this. I don't know. Look, if you may know more about some of the politicking behind this movie, but part of the reason it didn't get a theatrical run was when Troy Duffy signed his contract, he was going to get zero residual money for all of the physical media. So part of the screwing of the guy is, well, don't put it in theaters because we'll have to give him money. I assume he would have some sort of ownership rights and probably have a pretty good cut of whatever the box office would be and put his name out there. And I feel like they were just trying to shaft this guy and got away with it. So I don't know. Did you guys read any of that into the trivia, or have you heard anything like that before, guys? That was one of the things I read today. It was like, wow, that's a crazy backstory. Yeah. Yeah, it was, but it's fun. So yeah, we have these two brothers. They just walk in a church, go up for prayer, kiss Jesus, and then we get a little montage of what their life is like in Boston and what they're going to do. And it's fascinating. But I think Loki kind of hits the nail on the head. The star of the show is by far Willem Dafoe as this detective who we're set up to believe he has this great ability to kind of read a crime scene and kind of put together his theories. And he's kind of being sold as this great sort of insight on how a crime came to be. And yet every single theory is so radically wrong because it's just these two guys, the McManus brothers, are sort of like, I don't want to say buffooning their way into success, but that's kind of what's happening in the first couple instances, right? Like they kind of fall back. I mean, I got to be honest, when I rewatched the opening one where Connor jumps out of the window after the toilet, like he throws the toilet bit, he jumps down. It's like, well, that actually was quite heroic. I didn't really think of it as heroism before, but in watching it today, I was like, wow, that was really quite a very heroic move. I give the guy credit for that. But I don't know, how would you guys surmise that sort of like twist? 'Cause I think that's what sells the movie for me. It's like that first half sequence where they get through those two sequences with the Russian guys, and then when they go and kill the whole mob with the whole, the rope gag. That's when the movie is at its best. Those first up to that point for sure.
No, I agree, and it really showcases the closeness of the brothers too. Like, I love their, joking with each other, but then with the scene where he yanks the toilet out and jumps off the roof, like it their dedication, like it really it sets up, like, I don't know. I found them really funny. Like, even when they were trying to be serious, and like the fight in the vent scene, like, was one of my favorites. Like, of course, that's what siblings do best, right? Fight in air vents, right?
You had to get the damn rope.
What are you doing with all the rope, you say?
Oh, I loved it. I love the rope. I gotta be honest, just the idea of everything in this movie. Like, I think that I don't remember another movie where you have a dude that's handcuffed to the toilet who's smart enough to just rip the toilet out. Like, yeah, it's not going to be an easy thing to do, but you would be able to at least, even if you couldn't rip it up out of the floor, you could at least, get it over on its side or something to get free. But this movie was definitely epic in that regard, for sure.
Adrenaline's a pretty powerful thing. Let me tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You take those screws off that's holding it down. I bet you get it up. And if it's old, the one that was in the movie, I'm sure you wrench on it enough and it's coming up.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I've had my fair share of plumbing issues, and I think we can definitely get the toilet free. But yeah, it's great stuff. Iconic imagery here with the two of them for sure.
You can't picture one of the brothers without the other. They're like an item together. It's like these two are so like tied at the hip. You have to picture the two of them together. I mean, every time we see them, we are seeing them, carrying each other into the prison to sort of turn themselves in and kind of give their little story for what happened. We're seeing them care for each other and helping tend to their wounds. You don't get one without the other.
Oh, we need to get to the wound story at the end of the second half. The early part, everything's kind of like fun and games, very jovial. We're good at this, that type of stuff. And of course, the rope and falling through the roof, and really just an amazing scene. Like, just it really. This is up until that point. This movie is really, really solid. Does a great job, and of course, the Willem Dafoe sort of like misdirection with the handling of all the crime scene analysis, I think just makes it great.
The really huge serial murder guy.
It's a really big guy. A huge guy.
And he's going to do it again.
Serial
Crusher.
Serial crusher, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
by a huge
Yeah,
guy. Well, that's all William Dafoe. Without William Dafoe making fun of Greenlee, it just doesn't hit the same. You gotta have William Dafoe there. You serial crusher, this really huge guy. Greenlee, I want a bagel with my coffee.
Or like the Beagle scene where he's like, you know, they're not gonna come in here. You need to put a potato on a string, and the boys walk in and they're like, you do better with the beer. And the look on his face where he's like, oh man.
Hey, Greenlee, onion bagel, cream cheese, low fat.
I am not getting him coffee.
Oh my god.
I gotta be honest. Every time I watch the movie, I'm always picking up on like sort of more of the details, or at least the little William Dafoe nuances, and that's one of the reasons that I think it's on the rewatches. That's what I really do enjoy most about it. I'm always picking up something else that he does or something else that he says that I may not have totally gotten. So if you haven't watched this movie with captions, man, probably best at least give it a go at least once so you don't miss out on anything.
I like, oh, what was that one part where the Rocco comes in and he's like, he just is like, it's like a string of curse words. And he goes,
Yeah.
and one of the was it Connor, was like, well, that certainly illustrates the diversity of the use of the word. And I was like, yeah, actually, it kind of does. But it's little quotes like that. Like, there's so many just random moments where you just like, in the middle of all of this stuff, you just giggle or laugh.
And don't forget the owner of the bar who's got Tourette's, who's just like right in the middle, in front of the penguins. You know, F ass. Sorry, ladies.
The poor nun's in the hospital. And he's like, tells the kid, he's like, it's not you. It doesn't do with you.
We gotta get you a book full of all these proverbs or something, because this mixing and matching ain't working out.
Yeah, I was trying to look for a picture of the bartender. I didn't see one, but I don't know, just everything about it. It feels so genuine. Everyone feels like real people. I mean, obviously the character, the role's written for Rocco. I mean, that's his name is in the character's name, but it is, you just feel like you're hanging out with these guys for a few days and sucked into their world and their vendetta and their mission. And yeah, love it. Love
the guy who plays
locations.
The guy who plays Rocco is a comedian, and it was just like, go and be yourself, dude. I mean, it's pretty much like, just go and be you, and bring what makes you great to the movie. That and how can you say no to that? Oh, I just get to go out there and be my mischievous self. Oh hell yeah, okay, let's go.
Come on, I'm the funny guy.
I wanted to just give a love for like the secondary actors, and even though they're playing like the dopey cop caricatures, their dopiness is actually always makes me laugh as well. I can see SQUEEKA giggling at some of their absurdity. Like they just say like stupid things, and you're looking at them the way Willem Dafoe's character does. Like, what are you talking about? Like, are you in the same crime scene that I am? Like, yeah, it's good stuff. But yeah, the story progresses really well. So definitely through that first half, I think once you start getting Rocco into the mix, it starts to kind of really escalate into sort of like crazy, where they have their drinking binge and the crazy thing, and then they're going to attack the adult establishment to kill the one person. That's where you have the Ron Jeremy execution, which is kind of really funny because they obviously put him in. So I guess to make people feel uncomfortable, like how many people are going to admit that they knew who Ron Jeremy was back then, for sure.
I still don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's an adult performer.
Oh,
if you
okay.
will.
I just like the part where he goes, where Defoe catches on to what's happening. He goes, "Oh, we got ourselves a Wyatt Earp here."
Yeah, it's so good. How much do you guys think the legacy of this film is helped by the fact that Norman Reedus went on to Walking Dead? It's become bigger than life now.
Well, this was before all that.
Oh yeah, way
I'm
before
sure
that.
that I'm sure there are people that have, watched this since then, but he's not even close to being the same character as Daryl. So
I know, but it seems like it because of his fame, like went from zero when this was made to something that's so big. Because he's done a million Comic Cons and stuff like that. So even if you show up at a Comic Con talking to the Walking Dead dude, and you see all this Boondock Saints, it just seems like it's a walking marketing billboard that they probably didn't realize they were going to get. That's what I meant.
It's probably why that second movie was made.
I say nobody had any idea this movie was going to go on to become the success it was. Like, certainly not the studio, certainly not, the actors. Like, nobody knew this was going to go on to become such this cultural touchstone that it ultimately did become. And it's really, you go around, and for like a good solid 10, 15 years there, you couldn't go into like a Spencer's or any type of like little novelty shop without finding a bunch of like posters or merchandise.
Yeah.
But on the question of Norman Reedus and his Daryl character from The Walking Dead, I've kind of gone through that gambit once or twice before with friends where I knew people who really liked The Walking Dead and were like, well, what did you think about his earlier stuff like Boondock Saints? We're like, what? So I got to introduce that to someone. Like Loki couldn't believe no one had seen this movie before, but sadly it didn't quite catch on for them. For them, they were just like, "Oh, he looks ugly in this movie," and that was where we sort of lost that person on this movie, which is sadly such a surface level, like it's lost on him.
No, I mean, so I think, we'll go full circle back to Beard when he made his comment. There's a lot of problems with this movie. It's a fun movie. It's, whatever. Fine. It is what it is. But it's also not, it doesn't try to take itself so serious. I think that's why, Squeak, when we were talking about that first half of the movie, I think it's why it all works so well, right? Because they're not trying to pretend that they're superheroes or like they're really good at what they're doing. It's pretty legit. Like it's pretty real. Like these guys are stumbling and falling backwards into success, and they're letting it go to their heads and fuel their desire to be on their sort of like death wish, vendetta, protect the city thing. And they just kind of keep getting away with it until we get to the El Duce sequence, which is again, all that seriousness is contrasted with this. It's contrasted with, the zaniness of Willem Dafoe's character, where you're like, oh my gosh, this is just, it never stops. It just never stops. His scenes and stuff is sort of a great compliment to sort of the evolution of things, if that makes sense.
Well, his character has such a big enough resounding bit of complexity to him as well, where I don't think anyone had quite expected to find out that he was this gay man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Squeeka, I know you said it a little bit. Touch on Willem Dafoe again. Have you seen or know much about other stuff that he's been in? I know you don't really know names a lot of times, but is it an actor that you recognize from anything else in particular?
Oh yeah, I know I've seen him in other stuff. Like I think wasn't he in one of the Spider-Man movies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like he was in some kind of rom-com at one point that I got subjected to. I just know I've seen him around.
He's in the first John Wick movie.
I haven't seen any of the John Wick movies.
Beard had you sit through that yet, but yeah.
No, I haven't seen any of those.
We did just get him in Nosferatu.
Yeah, I don't think she's seen that.
I haven't seen that either. But I know there's been a couple and like maybe bits and pieces of things that I've seen him around in. This is the Willem Dafoe movie. Like this is his movie. Like every time I see him somewhere else, I'm just, this is who I picture him as. And I'm like, he doesn't look too bad in a wig. Like But this is what set the stage for just the kind of character he plays, like just his facial features, and because he's over animated in this movie, in my opinion. Like, and I don't know, like if he plays a more serious role or like a businessman role, or I just I can't see that in him. This is who he is to me.
Somehow, some way, he just really bonded with the director, the writer-director, and they just spent all this time crafting this character. And again, I say this all the time, so I know it's cliche for many of you, but I love the fearlessness. I love the fact that when an actor just does the crazy stuff. I mean, literally, he's in drag the last 20 minutes of this movie. He is, I mean, dropping more homophobic slurs at a gay bar than probably any. I mean, it's just completely just crazy, insane stuff that only Willem Dafoe at this point in his life and career could get away with. It's like, I don't need to hold back. There's no one that's going to tell me I can't do what I want to do. And I think that's refreshing. It's always entertaining when that happens, in my opinion. I love it. Let's see. Did we mention? So I don't know that. Let's touch on Flanery. So he doesn't really get the credit he deserves for his performances. He doesn't really have a lot of roles. Doesn't seem to have like a long, widespread career or anything like that. But man, he is really good in this movie. I mean, Norman Reedus went on to land the Walking Dead gig and kind of get famous and stuff. And this guy, not so much. But man, when I watch this movie, his character gets a lot of range and stuff to work with, from the early sequence where he thinks his brother's going to get killed to the later sequence when they're shot. And yeah, whew, good stuff. Really good stuff.
Well, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying before. Is like, for as good as his performance is, he's still sort of one half a character with Norman Reedus, where the two of them kind of, you got to have these two together. They complete each other for the sake of having the narrative that's going forward. They are basically just one character.
That's an interesting angle too. I don't think I really ever thought about it from that perspective, because they are twins and it's like, they're really one character. I don't know. I just love the fact that dynamic is so well played off one another. IRONCASTER, I was looking for a photo because I know we're talking about it a little bit earlier, but I wanted to get to it because we're talking about his performance. I don't have a shot where they're using the irons and stuff to cauterize all their wounds. Good night. That's horrifying.
Oh, that's wild. That is wild.
Yeah, that was crazy. Just like, wow. They're just, yeah.
But even if they are just like a kind of I feel like the movie does a great job of presenting them as that one unit, but also really showcasing what they bring to it. Like he seems like the older brother. Like he's always, the one kind of in charge, so to speak, and Connor's kind of funnier in a way, in my opinion. But I mean, I do see that they are presented as one, and they do kind of interchange, but they don't make them as interconnected to pull away from their distinct personalities either.
Yeah. Good points. And especially the fact that the brotherly stuff just works so well, and they really do pull that off so well, for sure.
I forgot about the matching tattoos. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that part. That's really cool.
Which
this sequence, man. Oh.
You could feel the pain.
I don't know if he's trying to give some Tarantino some credit, or if you think it's a little bit, but I feel like this wouldn't have happened if we weren't in sort of a Tarantino Pulp Fiction era. Like if we didn't at least break down the barrier with those type of movies, this stuff wouldn't have been able to be on film. They wouldn't have done this film. But this was incredibly shocking. Good stuff. Go ahead, IRONCASTER. You were going to say something. I kind of talked over you.
Well, you had brought up the tattoos, and that's one of those other pieces that has gone on to become one of the most iconic elements of this film. It's the brothers' tattoos, and how that is probably within the top 10 of pop culture, tattoos. I mean, it's up there with like Frankenstein, the Jason mask.
Yeah, there's some good tattoos too.
There were like shirts and stuff with like I want to say I remember a shirt that had like their guns with their like the Agios Veritas on the like the gun itself, like, and that was like a shirt logo. Like I feel like I've
Yeah,
seen.
I put the one in the. I put a link in the chat for the one shirt that I liked. I thought was really pretty cool. I think it's the one you're talking about. So,
Oh,
yeah, it's the one that says. Let me make sure I pull it up. Oh yeah, it's the Spiritus Sancti Veritas Equidus T-shirt. So yeah, I think it's the right one. But yeah, good stuff. But yeah, Ironcaster, these scenes, these tattoos, the trauma, like we're gonna cauterize these wounds. Just oh my gosh, this doesn't get talked about. I of all the stuff in this movie that does get talked about, somehow this sequence and this happening doesn't tend to be what people bring up. At least from my experiences, at least. Yeah, I think they give us about as much of a dose of this as we can handle because it can get a little rough to watch. That's for sure. So I don't know. Oh, look, Undead Ramen has made it in here. Great to see you. What's going on? What is going on, lovely people? Glad to catch up and live something to see. Oh, that's good. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Old Gamer dropped an Aquaman 1 comment. Not quite sure. Is that for me? I did a review on that. What are we talking about here, Old Gamer?
was Defoe in
I haven't
that?
done
Was
the
it back to the
Yes.
Defoe comment?
Oh, yes, he
yeah.
is an yeah, okay. You're right, Old Gamer. Thank you so much. Yeah, he's in the first Aquaman movie. Right.
Well, and as a former
then-
Catholic, like it does touch home on a lot of things too. Like it, I mean, and it is. I mean, my gran was Irish, and like it has a little bit of like hominess for me because I mean they are like that. I mean, I mean, uh, I could see my gran turning into some vigilante like this. You know that is kind of what Irish Catholics do. They take. Oh, I can't speak for all of them. I just know the ones that I know. But it was just it hit home a little in that aspect, just because I was like, oh, I could do a rosary with you guys, like.
Oh, also adding that if you catch some of the YouTube clips of the story of Reedus and the horses or the shower story, you're going to love it. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know he has spoken a lot about this and, basically being dead broke, living in an apartment, living on a couch. And yeah, fun stuff indeed. And yeah, spoiler alert, I have not watched the second one. So yeah, I do need to watch it. It's
Neither
been on
have I.
yeah. I meant to watch it ahead of this and just didn't get to it. It just wasn't easy to get to. So yeah.
It could be better, but it could also be worse. So it's sort of a. I'm gonna say it's like a 4 to 5 out of 10. It's sadly just really. The problem is, the first movie is so beloved and so highly regarded that it's trying to play catch up and it's trying to kind of follow in the footsteps of this cult classic. They tried to catch that lightning in a bottle twice.
I wondered, Ironcash, let me ask you, because you're younger than me and you're younger than us. So did you get the Fat Albert and Mushmouth references? Did you have to look them up, or how did that play? Because that was a very insider baseball reference with the mask.
Yeah, that's about one of the few things that has kind of didn't really translate too well because, I know who the character is, but it's one of those things that we're now in 2025. That character was relevant in like the early 70s or the late 70s, early 80s. We're 30, 40 years removed from that joke working.
Yeah.
However,
I know that was
just the image of the messed up mask does still work.
Yeah. They just do. I forget that gag is there, and it plays like 3 times. Like they keep double down, and then they triple down on it with him going "Okie KB," like that's how Mushmouth would talk. So it's really funny. So let's add then what's best is Reedus is still young during the conventions, and his co-stars tell it. His little face gets all red. He just gives up. He lays his head down and covers up. Yeah, I know. He's really good live. He really does a good job in these conventions. He loves his He loves the fact that he's been able to do this. I wanted to pinch his little cheek. Keep, oh, look at you. Yeah. Oh yeah. I know a lot of people that are into being a Norman fan for sure. So that makes sense. Seems like a nice enough guy. I've never met him. I did track down a picture of that toilet scene. So it took me a minute to get to the right one, but man, this shot, the scene, really good. Really, really good. Shocked. So, yeah, I had to be honest. I think the rope sequence comes at the top of my list. Like, it's still just incredibly well done for a small budget, inexperienced director type film. And yeah, then it kind of I don't know that I enjoy Rocco and some of the stuff, but I can't say that because of the cat situation. What am I supposed to do with the cat? I mean, I laugh out loud every time, every time, and I shouldn't.
Same. I have a cat.
I know I shouldn't
and it
laugh.
scares me every time it happens. I know it's coming. But I'll zone out and I'll just be like in the zone and I'll be in the movie, and then the cat, and I'm like, ah, like I love that.
Is he still alive?
And they tell us, and they give us this shot. They let me know. They remind me, SQUEEKA, that it's coming. It's going to happen literally within like 2 seconds after the shot of the cat. And every time I'm caught off guard, and then I laugh again.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't be laughing. This would be the part where Mrs. Pops would turn and give me the angry look, like you were laughing at the cat exploding on the wall. I'm like, well, no real cats were harmed in the making of this film. But yes, I am laughing at the exploding of the cat. Yeah.
And the cat's face beforehand is even worse because he's such a Chad. He's such a little like whatever, like
yeah,
like oh
just
buddy,
chilling out, man.
are you angry because you know what's coming too? Like
yeah, the cat is a scene that is sort of unforgettable. Like I don't even know how to put it into words.
Where's my cat?
And where's my cat is such a great callback. We talk about this too, Ironcaster, and now SQUEEKA. I guess you've been doing this with us enough to know now how much we obsess over the fact that they will set something up and then they will not forget about it. They'll go back to it and deliver. And the fact that they give us the ugly girls talking about, and they start crying. Then he's like, "No, tell me its name," and he starts going crazy. And you're like, "What are we going to?" I don't know about you, but I kept thinking, is it possible he's just going to shoot one of them now? Like I wouldn't put it past him. Like, hey, by the way, he's going to shoot one of them now.
He's completely lost at this point, and it's showing you Rocco's a character you really don't know what to expect out of him. He could do anything.
and even having watched this movie, that still happens. I still expect him to turn around and do that. I know it's not, but I'm still part of me is like, just right now, just this once, just redo the movie.
Maybe that's what makes the movie so good too. It makes you still feel like you have an unpredictability that's still there even when you've seen it before.
It's even the way he grabs his hair and holds it back to like look at them, like to get his hair out of his face, just so he can like intimidate them. Puts the gun right in their face, like, "What color was it?"
Good point. All right, well, let's get to the great Billy Connolly. So Billy Connolly is also a comedian, famous over there and overseas. They were thrilled to get him. Dude loves to work a crowd. He's great on set. Just a famous, fun to be around kind of dude. Wanted to play an assassin. Wanted to play this sort of heavy. And the reason he has the cigar, I had to look this up to make sure I lost my mind because I had this stowed away in the old Pops memory banks. It's probably some short that I heard at one point or other. The reason he has the stogie is because they had to figure out a way to like keep him from smiling all the time because he was just enjoying it. It was like watching Ironcaster. He was just enjoying himself way too much. So, yeah. Yeah, so.
Could you blame me?
No, I would not blame you at all. Definitely. Oh, what happened? Why did it click over?
He's definitely the hottest in the movie. Just gonna throw that down. Definitely.
He's making my beard choices feel better about themselves. I'm thinking I'm all right. I think I'm doing good.
I still like my beard choices the best, but he's a good.
I'm sure you do. That's fine. It's appropriate. It's more like an older brother type thing. I get it. I don't want to. Let's not get weird. Yeah.
I want a pair of glasses like those now.
Do you? All right, I can see that. I don't know what kind of glasses. Ironcaster just seems so cool. He could just rock about any look. I don't want to say, man. He shared his trench coat photos with us the other day, and we're all like, Yeah, it's just like he's showing off.
Get it, Icy. Get it.
Well, you know what they say.
Ironcaster, you could go with this guy as Halloween. You could pull that off. What do you think, Loki? Ironcaster could pull this off. He could be an El Duce for Halloween.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
I mean, he's got the coat, doesn't he? I mean, he's almost there.
Yeah. You want the glasses? We just got to get you a hat and glasses. You're good to go. Stogie. Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love the setup for him too, like the prison scene where there's like all of these guards, the way they chain him down. Like I love the setup for that, and then it gets to the parole part, and it's like parole granted, and your brain just goes, "What? Wait, what?"
Yeah. Yeah. Great stuff. Great performance. Oh, he's not.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, we had to make changes. Hang on here. Let's put you back. I don't know why it keeps deleting you.
I don't know. I know for a minute I had to take a phone call, but
no, it's okay. Sorry about that. There you go. Now you're back. Put you back over here too. Whoop. Whoop. There you go. There you go. Cool. We were talking about all sorts of crazy things. We ended up talking about Ironcaster, of course, because we do that most weeks. And El Duce Love was part of it. And just talking about just how much the details of this film, I think, continue. Even though certain things are going or not going to happen, you feel like you're sucked up into the moment, thinking that it'll be different. I know it sounds crazy. It's like the death of the cat and the girls and the way this scene is shot or the way that scene is shot. You feel like you feel a sense of uncertainty even though you've seen the movie before. I don't know. Maybe we're crazy, Loki. You tell us we're crazy or not? I don't know.
No. That's one of the great things about movies like this is that either you catch something new or you feel like you're going to catch something new, or there's a reason why you rewatch stuff like this. And when it goes beyond, oh, that was just badass, is when you really get into something and you really want to rewatch it. That's what this movie is. It's one of those movies you want to rewatch because you're like, oh, maybe I missed something, or maybe I forgot this, or maybe this, or it's that push to make you want to watch it again. That's all great stuff, man. That's heck why most of us are here.
Gotcha. Undead Ramen also is saying that old Billy is a silver fox. So yeah. Okay. SQUEEKA's not alone, for sure. For sure. And then, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's one of these movies that's in that list of films that you're just like, you want to share with people. It's the movie you want to like, you want the experience to be passed on to others because it's just ultimately kind of a magic movie. Like I said, there was lightning in the bottle here with this film. They caught it. And, then we got the second movie, but this movie is still fan-freaking-tastic on its own.
All right, so Ironcaster was talking a little bit of smack about the second movie. We had not seen the second movie. Loki had seen the second movie. We'll get to him in a second. Undead Robin says, it's worth seeing, if nothing else. There's scenes about the mom, worth watching just for that scene. So that's what I heard as well. It wasn't just Loki who was like telling me, it's worth watching. It's not great movies as this one, but it was fun. So I don't know. What do you think, Loki? What are we at on the
prototype for Mexican Iron Man is definitely in that movie. So if you ever watch it and you get to that scene and he's like, ding dong, mother, ding dong. You're like, okay, yeah, all right. It's Mexican Iron Man. Or at least the prototype for Mexican Iron Man. It's great. It's good. It's not like as good as this movie. And you miss Willem Dafoe for, the majority of the movie. But his replacement isn't so bad.
Well, kind of what my point was that it has the downside of having to follow up such an amazing film that the shoes that were left behind for it to try to live up to is almost unattainable to try to, achieve something as great as this first film is.
I think it sounds fair. That sounds fair. I mean, I get it. I mean,
But I'm sure they knew that. And I mean, if knowing that going into it, would you say it's still a good sequel?
I would.
See, I haven't seen it in like 10 years. I really don't remember the movie at this point. So I am overdue for a rewatch.
Watch the extended edition, which is harder to get. You can get it on Blu-ray though. I know you can, because I've got it. So you can get the extended edition of both movies on Blu-ray. But that second movie, I mean, it's good. It's a good movie. It's a good follow-up. It's just not as good as the first movie. You don't really know what you're going into in the first movie. You don't know what you're about to watch. You can hear all the, oh, it's good, it's great, oh, it's funny, oh, it's action-packed. Until you actually go and see it, you don't really know. And the second movie, there was a lot of hype about the second movie. I think the second movie, they started talking about it being made when I was still working in corrections. So that was a long time ago. That was like 2007. 2006, 2007. And I was excited. I was excited to see it. It's different, but it was fun and it's funny and it's definitely in the vein of the first movie. It's just different.
Am I correct in reading this that the runtime for the director's cut is 4 hours long?
What?
wow.
What? On the sequel?
I don't remember it being that long, but it's possible.
I gotta look this up because like I looked up the runtime. I looked up the film on Amazon, and I'm scrolling down. I'm like, okay, here's all the details. I get to the bottom. Runtime, 4 hours and 15 minutes.
Maybe it's both movies. Maybe they combined them. Maybe they combined like Boondock Saints 2 and the director's cut into one thing. They do that occasionally. I know I got when they did Batoma Ninja. They had both movies on Amazon where like they had the in English version and then they had the in Japanese version in the same on the same thing.
So it's listed in other places as 117 minutes. So
that sounds more, yeah.
That's got to be what it is. I mean, that said, if it lived up to the original, then I'll sit down for a 4 hour runtime. I'll watch a 4 hour Boondock Saints 2 or 3, and not the Avatar 3.
Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day. Yeah, that's a
don't see a
Blu-ray. Get the
runtime.
director's cut. Let's see. Okay, that's got to be like special features,
or the director's cut.
It's got to be special features, or it's got to be both movies. Because I know you get both movies in that package, because that's what I got. So I'm betting that's like both movies.
So,
20 minutes longer than the
you that-
original. So the director's cut, All Saints Day, is 20 minutes longer than the original.
It's just so everybody at home who might just be listening, so you know, Undead Rom's been keeping us up to date. She has been battling a spider. So yeah, there was a spider moment where she just kind of like, spider, I'm losing a spider, and then later we're not getting an update. Good news, spider's gone. Bad news, I don't know where the hell it went. Probably still alive. Will return fully armed for revenge any day now. Yeah. So
move.
Pops, I caught some rare footage here of Undead Ramen fighting spiders and the inevitable conclusion.
Spider War. Hashtag Spider War.
I don't see anything.
Just fire.
Just fire.
Fire
Just
baptizes all.
I don't even see fire. I just see a black screen. I don't know. Who knows? It's probably on my end.
See, I save spiders. I wouldn't be assistance.
For a snack?
No, I put them back outside. I rescue them with me bare hands.
I had a buddy I was sitting there smoking a J with once, and there's just this giant army of baby spiders just suddenly started crawling. I guess they hatched. I guess there was an egg or something, just started climbing up and going into an event. And I was like, you got to move, dude. You got to move now. Get your stuff and move now. Don't stay here another night.
See, I rescued some baby spiders and they hatched in my hand. It was the coolest thing. Oh, I was so excited. There's little spiders all over the place. I'm like, look at them. They're in my hand. I think I lost a friend that day, but that's okay.
Goodness.
Just think about all the friends you gained.
Nope.
Yeah. I want to highlight the other comment. She says, she brings up the fact that, pretty sure I interpret this right. I make everyone I know watch Nobody with me so I can watch it for the first time all over again every time. That's really good to hear. And I'm pretty sure there's some folks here that have not watched Nobody, which we will be doing very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. Nobody is definitely an underrated gem for me as well.
I got to, when we did Valhalla back in October, I got to share 1,000,000 Ways to Die in the West, which has been like the very first goal we ever had in Valhalla. Take your hat off, boy, that's $1 bill. Well, apparently none of Valhalla had seen it besides Loki. So yeah, getting to share that movie and watch it with everybody, that was a blast. I know what you mean, Undead Ramen.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Hey, nobody ever seen $1.
I'll put that on my list.
Oh, you haven't seen 1,000,000 Ways to Die in the West?
Nope, I haven't. I'm sorry. I've seen Take Your Hat Off, Boy. That's another bill. I've seen that part. Does that count?
Yeah, we've seen the clip more than we've seen the movie. I know that. I know that I've seen the clip a lot more than I've seen the movie.
The relationship his buddy has with the girl in the whorehouse, that's just they're saving themselves for marriage. SQUEEKA. She works in a whorehouse and they're saving themselves for marriage.
What? What the what? Wait, what? That's
Seth
awesome.
Seth MacFarlane's like best friend in the movie. He's dating a girl that works at the whorehouse and they're saving themselves for marriage, even though she works at the whorehouse. It's just fun stuff.
Great stuff, man. Nice. Jacob's bringing it up again, so hey, let's talk about it again. One of the greatest moments of the whole movie is the death of the cat. We were discussing, Loki, while you were gone, that SQUEEKA and I still get surprised by the cat death, even though we know it's coming. Like, it still just catches us off guard. It's a beautiful element of the film, and definitely the best cat death on screen I can think of. Yeah, I agree with that. Fair enough.
But the whole movie's like that for me. Like when he gets granted parole, or like when he shows up, and like, or the courtroom scene. Like, there's the whole movie's like that. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen this movie. Every time I watch it again, I'm like, oh my god, no! Like, what are you doing?
I mean, that can be all emphasized into that one scene with Willem Dafoe where he's like, come to mama. And you're like, oh, no.
I forget about that scene, and then he shows up, and I'm like, oh, babe.
Oh, shit.
I forgot about you.
For this scene, you got to put the wig on, you got to roll around in the bed, and try and look sexy.
Those Willem Dafoe cheekbones come shining through. You're just like, what is happening?
I could never look as sexy as Willem Dafoe. Maybe if I had a onion bagel and some coffee.
Low fat cream cheese.
Oh, it's gold. Scott Westbrook with a $5. Thank you so much. Keep it up, Scott. Oh, thank you, man, brother. I appreciate you. It's literally called the pair character lifting some weights. So indeed. And Scott, thank you so much. I was telling everyone here earlier, I've reached 1 million views as a channel, basically in 3 years, because the first, 15, 20,000 was before that. So it's like 980 something. And you're definitely a large part of that, man. You've been a supporter since the get-go and a big fan. And yeah, I appreciate you, man, so much in this whole journey. And yeah, as Loki says, keeping the lights on. Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
I confess my brain didn't see that as part of the description of the emoji. So I spent like a good 5 minutes trying to figure out where the pair character was in Boondock Saints. I'm like, wait, I don't remember that guy. Did I miss something?
Okay, so let me ask a question about the end because I don't want. If I had a pet peeve, it's why do they don't have their masks on at the end? Why are they not trying to by removing the anonymity? I think it changes the way the movie ends because then it makes them more like public criminals instead of just being more enigmatic. I feel like it's kind of like the way that the V for Vendetta does work, right? Because then it's like a whole fleet of humans that all have this mask on. It could be anybody. It could be the guy right next to you at the grocery store. It could be anyone. And they kind of remove all that by having the courtroom scene without their masks on. Just wondered your thoughts on that.
It's supposed to be like okay, be afraid, be very afraid. These are the boogeymen. And these are who they are. And they don't care if you know who they are or not. They don't care if you know their identities. They don't need to wear masks anymore. Why? Because they are the boogeyman, and if you mess up and you do some evil crap, they're gonna come and they're gonna get you. Now that does not translate at all well into the second movie because that's not apparently. But it was supposed to be them being like, we don't care, we're going to dispense justice and we're gonna do it our way, and we don't care if you know who we are or not. If you mess up, we're coming for you.
And I mean, that was, it really comes across like that was the intent that they were gonna, to further elaborate on that, to say that it doesn't matter where you're at, you are not safe. Not even in the halls of justice where you think you've bought everyone off, where you think that this is all formality to get you to a place of safety far away from us. No, nowhere is safe. You will not escape justice, not as long as we live and breathe.
Part of me wonders, though, if
But I
it was
think
to
that
push a moral agenda too. Not that they did this back in the day with a lot of movies, but I feel like they made such a big point early on in the movie about how people were all for these guys. Nobody knew who they were, but they were 100% behind what they did. And then they show at the end of the movie, after they've shown their faces, now there's more people that are like, no comment. How could they do this? And I wondered too if it was to show that turning point in thinking where we go from, if we don't know who they are, we love what they're doing, versus, oh, now they're people and we don't approve of this.
Well, but then to kind of throw that against some recent current events, you had all the Luigi stuff going on, where you have people that have basically are trying to deify him in a lot of ways for having done what he did, allegedly.
yeah, it's. I think losing the anonymity is kind of a negative for me. I think I would have enjoyed the messaging. Even if the dad had come, when the dad joined them, he had like a different type. You're not wearing these crappy ski mask boys. We're wearing this instead or something. We're going to send a message to everyone in the community or something. Something a little more. I think it removes some of that power of, hey, it's the guy standing right next to you. The boogeyman could always be right next to you. So anyway,
Well, it causes issues with the second movie too.
sure,
Because you
sure.
think, oh, they're going to do this and they're going to go on and they're going to, keep doing it. And that's absolute no. No, they just brought so much heat down on themselves by, not having that anonymity that pretty much it's like, no, we can never, show our faces in New York again because they know exactly who we are.
Right. Yeah, this was kind of a funny comment. She's talking about
Boston. Yeah, Boston.
yelling at her
Boston.
kids where your pants are and then trying to figure out where the pants were on the pair that Scott shared with the super chat. So appreciate that. It's funny. Made me laugh. So yeah, it's a super solid movie. This is one of those that I will just be totally transparent that as a movie, as a critic, as a scorer, it's Midland for me. It's like a 3 out of 5, but the rewatchability multiplier is nearly every year. Yeah, it's pretty much every year. I mean, I've already watched it twice this year, so I'm kind of I'm saturating the numbers that it'll probably get a third time later in the year, just because there's so much time left. So it's one of those that we factor in those two, score times multiplier. This is one that soars. But if you are not into that vigilante sort of plot, and you're not into if you have sort of like thin skin for certain sorts of jokes and gags and whatever, or exploding cats, yeah, this would definitely be triggering for you indeed. But that was my general score of it. So what about you, Ironcaster? How do you score a movie like this, man?
kind of like what I was saying earlier. This is a movie that is ultimately divisive for a lot of people. I think I'm like the rest of you, where I kind of fall on the side of this movie as being a big fan of it. Though, again, they're not exactly perfect. It it's a bit of manna from heaven in a lot of ways for that urge and sense of justice, of wanting to see, the evildoers who skirt the system go punished when the system fails. That speaks to so many people to want to see that sort of thing happen. I can't help but love the movie. There's so much charm in the movie. These characters are super memorable. The peacoat alone has gone on to get a new life of sort of this pop culture attention, where there will be people who wear that coat just because that was the kind of coat that the brothers wore in the Boondock Saints. Like I said, the tattoos got on to become super iconic as well. It's a hard one to give a grade to, because there are those little flaws in the movie, like we've kind of pointed out. I'm gonna go a solid 8 out of 10, 4 stars. Well worth your time. It's hard not to love this one. And for that little personal touch, I give it that extra little half star. So there you go.
Okay, very fair, very fair. Before we move to SQUEEKA and Loki, let me say hi to DJ Ronnie G's in the house. Great to see him. Great to see him.
No.
And Undead Ramen, says I'd watch it every single week if I could find enough weirdos who I hadn't seen. You living vicariously through other people. Yeah, that was my friend or coworker that, man, it was like it was their favorite movie of all time. And I was like, wow, that's heavy. I got to watch this movie then. So that's how I got broken into it. So, what about SQUEEKA? How you feel about this one?
Oh, I love this movie. This is easily in my top 10. I watch it over and over again. I give it like 8.5 stars, maybe even like 9 out of 10. Just the extra half points for the cat. Like,
good point on the cat. Willem Dafoe and the cat kind of leans me towards the 4, if I have to be honest. And I'm leaning more. Yeah, agreed.
I mean, they just I like Loki said a lot. Like, Defoe makes this movie. The cat kind of helps, but Defoe makes this movie, and I love it. And to me, it's almost like a new watch every single time.
It does seem to stand out to me, SQUEEKA, that this is a movie that just with the cat in particular, that in spite of this kind of super iconic moment with the cat, it still makes you laugh. You still kind of love it in spite of this awful thing, especially for like cat lovers.
I mean, I threaten my cat with turning it in breakfast all the time. So I don't know if I'm officially a cat lover. We coexist in this house. And I'm like, why are you at my door? Can you go somewhere else?
Your roommates.
I think she thinks she owns the place. But I mean, I love my cat, but it's just, I don't know. That gets me every single time. And there's so many of those scenes, like the parole one, like Defoe in a wig, like where it's like, I know it's coming, but it's still so funny. It's still so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's him in those crime scenes for me, where it's like every time I watch it, he's catching me again with another little quip, another little line, a little back and forth. One of the idiot officer remarks. It's just
or the
before
rope
you get
coming back. The rope.
Yeah.
Oh, what are you gonna do with all this rope?
Yeah, the rope.
You just had to have the rope.
Oh, it turned out pretty good, didn't it?
In here, like some kind of Chuck Norris. What does he say? Charles Bronson. That's who he compares him to.
Yes.
Death Wish.
Death Wish. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think we've given it a lot of love for sure. Loki, how about you, my friend?
Easy. This is an easy 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10, whatever you want to call it. So recently, what was it, at the Oscars, at the Grammy? I don't remember where the hell. Someone was like, why, instead of making all these $200 million movies, why didn't Hollywood make like 10 or 20 $10 million movies? Because of movies like this. because these are the movies we remember, these are the movies we love, and these are the movies that get made without all the super duper Hollywood supervision. And they try and tank it. And they did. They tried to tank this movie. They tried to absolutely tank this movie. Why? Because this guy was unvetted. He was a newbie. He was someone that they felt that they couldn't control, manipulate, and have him do what they wanted. He knew what he wanted to make. More movies like this should be being made, and they're not, because everything's got to have a $200-300 million budget, and they're only going to go with people that they bet, that they want, that they trust, that will do what they tell them to do. This is why Hollywood is failing, is because they don't make movies like this anymore, and they don't inspire the imagination. When you have people that come in, that do the cinematography, that do the camera work, that do the editing, that it's just raw passion, emotion, and they're there because they love it. They have systematically gotten rid of those people and moved them over to streaming. I could go on all day about how streaming is killing video, but I'm not going to do that because we'd be here all day. But that's the problem. More movies like this aren't being made, and they aren't being made because of Netflix and Disney and HBO and this giant dumb war that they've had to try and convert everybody over to digital. All that gets us is suffering, because movies like this aren't being made. Movies that you pick up, that you maybe got at the video store, or you got a friend tell you about, you watch it, and you're like, holy crap, where did this come from? Who the hell did this? Why haven't we not gotten more of this? Oh, we didn't get more of this because they sabotaged his ass, and they really didn't want to make more, even though this was genius on his part to make this movie. They just don't want it. They don't want it to happen. So 4 out of 5 for me. I wish we had more of it. I wish we had more movies like this. And it definitely hits that cult classic once or twice a year watch. So yeah, if you haven't seen it, watch it.
Yeah, if you remotely love those type of vendetta movies, because this was basically just a fresh and fun version of like a Death Wish movie, and I didn't really do this much. Definitely don't do it very often for Talk Hard, but I noticed that the Rotten Tomatoes score on this was 26 and the audience score is 91, and I was like, okay, this just proves, I don't know what Death Wish's score is, they can't stand these type of movies. Critics just hate these type of vendetta movies. They just deplore them. Like, I remember some of the knockoff ones that are not very good. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I'm not going to give it a 26. It's ridiculous, right? But Peppermint, which is the one with Jennifer Garner, the Bruce Willis remake of Death Wish. These are not great films. They're vendetta films. Kind of like what's the silly one with the girl Karen Gillan with like milkshake, gunpowder milk. They're silly vendetta movies, right? They're not great movies. But to give it a 2 or a 1, you're just being a jerk. You're just being an a-hole. And when audiences can have a good time and 91% of people say it's a 3 out of 5 or better, you're doing something wrong as a critic. Just sorry, you just are. It's definitely Midland at best. And if you love that kind of stuff, you add the star. That's really how it goes. It's just clearly how that's being fair to this movie. If this is your bag, and you can have the laugh at these kind of jokes and whatever, then you're going to love this movie and have a good time with it. That's the general consensus.
Keep like 95% of the writing. Keep 95% of the writing, the script the same way it is. Give it to James Gunn with 2 chicks in it. Hollywood would be going absolutely ape shit crazy over it, giving it all 9s and 10s. That ought to tell you everything you need to know.
Little update for the Rotten Tomatoes score you're asking for. Death Wish has a 66% critic score, and audiences 69.
All right. Well, I mean, I can see audiences. So Death Wish is one of those films, like, it hasn't aged well for normies. Like, I get that. Like, that it definitely feels like a 70s film. It feels gritty and grimy and edgy for that era, and like that's just, we have a whole bunch of people that are 30 and under who just don't seem to get film. Like, I just don't know what to do with them. I'm really having a hard time. I had this conversation with my son the other day. It's like, you need to figure out how to get out there with your people your age and start making sure they're watching some good stuff, because their perspective on things is just out of whack. And the ship's only going to get worse if you all don't figure out how to spend your money better and like things better. So
I tried to introduce someone to the movie 300, and they said, "Oh, that old movie."
What? That even makes sense. It's not even an old movie. Oh.
It was to them.
Yeah. Listen to your friends. Yeah, told me to watch Kamikaze Girls. I finally did, kicking myself way too long. Yeah, I mean, you gotta find people you trust. Like, that's the whole. To me, that's the YouTuber thing. Loki and I talk a lot about, like, why are we doing this? What do you do this for? Like, if you're expecting to get rich, or if you're expecting popularity and fame, and your motivations are all wrong. If you're doing this, have a good time, be an honest broker and all of this, meet other cool people, get great recommendations, have fun. That's why we do this. Oh, that's what we're doing. And this is another good one to definitely recommend to people. And I think you're right to find kooky people who haven't seen it yet, so you can recommend it for sure. So, because this is a good one. This is a fun one. I'm glad the person tracked me down and just beat me over the head. Like, you got to watch it, got to watch it, got to watch it. And finally I did. It's like, it's a great movie. Had a good time. A really fun time. And I've enjoyed watching it ever since. And SQUEEKA, we should start a little group or a little club that the cat joke gets us every time. Because it shouldn't get us, but it gets us every freaking time. I 100% agree.
Every time I squeak, I jump up a little and I'm like, oh, that's right, the cat.
The cat. Oh, yeah, the cat. The cat. Never gets old. Yeah. IRONCASTER, my friend. Mech Monday. Another great Mech Monday, man. You're rock and rolling, man, doing your thing.
It's something I still feel myself in a way kind of trying to get the right groove, the right feel for, but I can't help but feel like it keeps kind of finds a way to kind of come together in the end. Sometimes it may not necessarily be the show I was exactly looking to set up and make, but I'm happy with what we had in the end and the laughs that we had along the way.
I think it's a lot to be proud of, man. I really do. And a lot of it is just staying consistent, just doing your thing. And just, juggling it, because you got all other stuff in the real world that you have to balance with it, and you just got to keep doing your thing and hanging out and doing that. So, Loki, my friend, I'm looking forward to another week in review and fun stuff. I'm still catching up. I'm only halfway through the last one. I can't keep up, so I guess maybe it is crazy stuff. There's so much going on to talk about. So, how you doing, man? What's the plan going to be for the next few days? What's the next few weeks? What's going on?
I should be over on that puppet place, the puppet hole, the puppet hole later tonight with Snowdub, hanging out over there tonight. Apparently I abandoned my channel and abandoned all of my viewers, and I've just abandoned everybody. And I'm like, okay. The absolute
Spoiled
shit
YouTube
that some people come up with, like, you abandoned everyone. I'm like, oh my God, shut up. And of course this would come from, somebody on our side of the fence. Like, you abandoned everybody and they put trust in you that you'd be live 5 days a week. And I'm like, oh my God, shut the fuck up. It's YouTube. Sorry. That bomb. He'll bleep it out in post. Ooh, we're live. Never mind.
No, look, you don't understand. You signed the contract. You're now obligated to do this for life.
Oh yeah, screw that. I'll be here, but I'm not going to be here Monday through Friday. So we'll be back on Friday for the week in review. We'll be back Friday night. I gotta convince the mouse to come on one Friday night with us and hang out, chill with us for a late show with Snowed Up.
I've done it.
You have, but I gotta convince you to come by again. I gotta convince you. I gotta be like, SQUEEKA, come on.
I just want you back.
Come on. Snowed Up misses you. He's like, it ain't no party without a SQUEEKA party. So,
yeah, good.
But all seriousness, I'm doing my thing, and we should have some stuff out. I've got an editor working on some stuff. I'm working on some stuff. And we should have some uploads to you soon. I know I'm behind and I'm late, but all kinds of crazy stuff happened. I had to deal with the police this morning. Apparently there's a manhunt in Indiana for someone with my name, my birthday. That is not me. So if you hear about another Loki in Indiana that has my name and my birthday, it is not me. It is somebody. I had to deal with that this morning. It's just, we roll with the punches and we deal with the things we have to. And, you get that flex in when you can. I have no idea what he said.
He's talking about mice. He's got field mice in the same constellation. So And just maybe you couldn't get SQUEEKA, but you can get some field mice and such. So it's DJ Ronnie G just cracking some. Yeah, it's good, man. That's good. Listen, life's just life, man. Just YouTube. So SQUEEKA, what's going on with you, man? You got anything else going on, lady? The rest of the week? Anything else before?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know if Beard and I are going to stream this week. We were supposed to do shows you haven't seen yesterday, but I know Goat is still having kind of illness, so we didn't do that yesterday. But we'll be back in 2 weeks for that. And well, if I can, maybe sneak over to Friday nights or something. I may go hang out over there. It just depends on if I'm in town or. Life has been kind of slumpy lately, so I just kind of don't feel like very peppy, very mischiefy. I feel like one mouse instead of a collective of them.
And then the voices stopped, and I only heard one.
The voices never stop. Oh, no. Oh, no. I am the Boondock Saints in my head. Like, let's be honest. I'm Willem Dafoe over here. But no,
Shepherds we shall squeak.
I do have, spring break's coming up, so yeah. Too bad Loki quit the interwebs and is not doing his show anymore and let me down before spring break, and I have time off and I can't catch a morning show now because there's not one because he abandoned me.
Hashtag Loki abandoned us.
Yeah.
Hashtag Loki abandoned us.
I'm jesting. I'm not upset at all. I hope you're not.
I know that. I would never think you'd be serious.
I am going to cry all of spring break at 8 o'clock in the morning and be like, I'm not at work. Where are you?
Well, maybe I can get you to come and do a recording at 8 a.m. That'll make you feel better.
I posted one video early and it felt too weird, so I put it back. I couldn't do it. I couldn't slide my publishing time into Loki's time. I couldn't bring myself to it. I did it one time and I just couldn't do it. Every time I clipped selecting what would be 9 a.m. my time, I was like, no, it feels wrong. I just can't do it. So I put it back to 10:15 like I normally do. So I'm just as guilty as others, like not stepping up to fill the void of our own.
I've told everybody. I told Snow. I told McAnee. I've told, dude, if you want the time, take it. Monday through Thursday, I'm not coming back. I'm not doing that. This is different. This is a different thing. I'm not going back to Monday through Friday. Just Fridays for right now and some uploads.
It's okay. I'm just going to spend all spring break waking up at 8 and crying, and then I'll go back to sleep. It's okay.
Wow.
She's horrible. You see the abuse I have to put up with.
If there's ever anything that I know Pops has asked me for his talk hard rant.
And this is just the thing she says she's willing to say in public.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you should see the things I have written down. No, I'm just kidding.
Or the things she said, or the things she texts us. Like, I cried.
It's all Loki's fault.
It is.
Hashtag blame Loki.
I've been abandoned.
Hey, you should have seen it the other day. Squeak was like, I can't believe this happened. And Pops goes, where was Loki?
What I always do. I always default.
I feel like I've been punched in the daddy bags.
Right in the daddy bags.
Yes, indeed. And if you think this is crazy, folks, just remember next week we'll be doing Ninja Turtles and Beard of Liberty will be here. So imagine Beard of Liberty here as well for Ninja Turtle fun.
I'll try to be good.
Glorious.
I will not be here.
You will not be here. Oh,
I
thought
will
it was
not
2
be
weeks later.
here.
Okay.
It's next week because they changed it on me. I hadn't had a chance to talk to you about that. They changed it on me.
Oh, that's fine.
Because they weren't going to write me another prescription.
Here the week of Kung Fury. I purposely put it that week to try to save you, but
I have to watch it. I haven't seen it.
I hate that I'm going to miss Ninja Turtles too. I hate that. So.
Well, if Loki's not going to be there, I'm not going to be there.
Well, then we'll have it's just an all beard show. We'll be rocking
How do you know I don't
Without
have
Squeeka's.
a beard? I have a luscious.
Okay, well, we're gonna be an all beard show without Squeeka's beard. I mean, I don't know what to put me in a corner, will you, lady? Put me in a corner.
I do have one of those like yarn beards that you put on, and it's like attached to this little hat. I do have a beard. It's just not attached to me.
Yarn beard. Hashtag yarn beard. All right, that's a good way to end. I'm playing the intro again just because, you know, when you make them that are specific for a certain show or film, that you don't want to use them twice. So they get copyright struck, got to edit them twice. Hey, why not? We're all in. Let's do it. Folks, be blessed. Talk hard. Till next time. I'm Pops.
Bye-bye.
Oh, the sound's all weird.
Right in the daddy bags.
Where's my cat?
I wasn't ready.
I guess it won't get copyright struck whenever I left the applause file over it.
You guys are good, huh? Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. St. Patty's Day, bitches.
They gave Rocco top billing in this trailer. That's funny.
Patrick feeling. Spiritus Sancti.
This had nitrous oxide and
Oh, no.
testosterone pumping through every shot they took in this movie.
God, I
That's
hate
how you
hearing
have to
myself.
make those movies. You can't go girly mode and
Oh,
be like,
same. I
oh,
can't
you know,
listen to
wouldn't it
anything
be
online.
amazing if they did this?
Hashtag prancing fritters.
Get off the set, you prancing fritters. Get off the set. No, we need testosterone. We
old
need
school
manly men
movie.
doing manly things, cutting people in half, and screaming, "This is Sparta."
You heard that hashtag prancing
Not
fritter.
sitting in a circle singing
Chuck Norris
Kumbaya.
Karate Commandos.
Bring it up, crack it down, fight forces of evil wherever they're found.
Figures sold separately.
Location Tibet. Assignment recover stolen microchip. Protecting it was Super Ninja.
Happy
First,
birthday,
Kimo
Chuck.
stood up to him and was downed. Then Reedus
Order
flew
now
in
and get your total,
and was
Jim, for
grounded.
free.
But now it's his karate against mine.
But wait, there's
Norris
more.
Karate
Right now, we'll
Commandos.
throw in the
Chuck
action
Norris
jeans.
Super Ninja Reed Smith
Just
Kimo and other
$9.99.
figures sold separately.
Dude, I met him in person.
That's pretty wicked, actually.
Spiritus Spiri. Amen.
I think I need to keep that little clip. That little girl.
I'm not shitting you. That's how I looked in my 20s. I was like,
I mean, that's how I looked in my 20s.
The Lord's Prayer in
Sassy.
Latin. What I do?
I actually probably had a suit almost like that in my 20s. Looked kind of random here.
You just saw the first time Pops and Loki met.